Welcome, guys, to the Jet webinar. I'm pretend that first part didn't even happen because I'm going to edit it right out. So, no one ever knows about it. So who cares, right? But anyway, nice to see you here. We're here to make you be prepared as possible for the Jet program. My camera's too high. I don't like that. I don't want you to see my pajama pants under this. That's the danger. Okay. So we're going to get you going. We're going to introduce you to the STEAM panel we have here. Expert Jets here to help you just know as much as you can know, right? They know a lot of stuff. So let's get to it. Let's introduce everybody here. So first, we have the lovely and talented Tammy. How you doing, Tammy?
Hi, I'm from Canada, living in Yamanashi, where Mount Fuji and peaches and grapes are.
Exactly. Nice. Next, we have the equally lovely and talented Cara.
Hey, what's up, car adventures? I'm also in Niigata,
Yeah,
and we're famous for rice and sake.
nice.
So make sure to check us out.
Cara's in the house. Next, we have the lovely and talented Kayla.
Everyone, Kayla here from Iki Island, Nagasaki. We're famous for sea urchin, iki beef, and squid.
Bingo. What else do you want? All right. Next, we have the lovely and talented, but you won't be able to see it, Stacy.
Hello, everyone. Everyone else is enjoying their lovely Saturday, and I'm at work because today is our sports day. I'm from Tokushima.
Sometimes you have to work on Saturdays while in the Jet program, guys. All right, but it's still cool. It's still a fun day usually. Next, we have the equally lovely and talented Will.
Hey, what's up? I'm Will from the United States. I live in Gifu Prefecture, so we are famous for Kimi no Nawa and lots of mountains and trees and friendly people.
There you go. What else do you want, guys? For someone that doesn't know what that is, Kimi no
Your name.
Your Name. So that's a movie, guys. And if you haven't seen that, go check it out. All right. Okay. So before we get to it, okay, I'm James, ALTInsider.com. What's up? That's me. I'm from America. I live in Kyushu. I'm not on Jet though, but I'm doing good. Where I do translation, I do ALTInsider.com. I'm doing this, helping Jets, as many Jets as I can, get on the Jet program and then be successful once they get on there. So also, if you want to get up, we have Natalie in the house. Natalie.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, finally. Okay.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Me?
Yes.
Okay. My name's Natalie Correa. I'm currently placed in Sapporo in Hokkaido, and I came from Toronto, Canada.
There you go. All right, guys. So let's get to the schedule right now. I made a fancy image for this. So first, we're on the intro, meet the panel. That's done. That was done 3 times, but you can only hear once of it, one time. So that's good. Next, we're gonna get to things about what to pack. Then we're gonna get to when you get to the plane to orientation, right? Because some people I've had emails from people that really have a problem. What do I do? What happens when you get to the plane? Even they want to get details. So we're gonna get through that a little bit. Number 4, what happens at orientation? Some people say it's great. Some people say it's stupid. We'll find out. It's probably arranged, but we'll find out. We'll learn all about that if we can. Then we're going to get to some stuff about Omiyage. Always a big question. What's good to buy? What's bad to buy? Don't go too crazy on it. That's my initial advice. Next, first day at school, outside the class, outside of this classroom. So all that stuff about meeting your teachers, meeting your principals, all that kind of stuff. Next over here, if I can do that. First class, intro lesson. What's a good lesson to do for your first time? Of course you have to do an intro lesson, right? What do you have to do? The key is to not make it boring. And a lot of people make it boring. So we're going to hopefully make yours the opposite of boring, which is fun, right? Last 2 people are very quiet. All right, Allison, thanks for that. Number 8 is getting set up. So all that stuff about bank, cell phone, that kind of stuff. We can't go too deep there, obviously, because that's a pretty deep topic. We'll go through the overview of that. At the end, we'll do question and answer. So if at any time you have a question during this whole thing, we will put it onto a document and we'll get answered at the end. So the panel is going to stay around, everyone that can, and we're going to get to all the questions we can get to. So if you have a question, just type it in at any time, and we can get to that. Okay. So with that out of the way, does any of this esteemed panel have anything they want to add before we get going? Esteemed panel, webinar squad, radio silence. They're all good. Okay, we'll take silence. Their silence as indifference or acceptance that everything is good. So let's go. Start things off. We're going to talk about what to pack. And for the expert of what to pack we have on this panel today is Kayla. How you doing today, Kayla?
Hey,
Okay, yeah, you don't have to answer that. I already asked it. So what should we know about packing? Tell us what did you do? What is something that you packed that you wish you didn't pack for sure? Let's start with that.
Well, packing is a challenge, especially when you're busy graduating the same day that you're leaving.
Okay.
But yeah, so what not to pack?
Exactly.
That's a hard question to start with.
Okay, well that's a different one. What's okay? What's just give us some basic advice here. What's kind of your expert advice?
If you know where you're going to end up, like what prefecture you're in, I would check out the weather beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the averages and maybe ask your predecessor, if you have contact with them, what they suggest, because that's really going to determine what kind of wardrobe you kind of want to bring with you. Pretty much if you're anything north of Okinawa, you'd still want winter clothing for the winter because it can get chilly and not all the schools are heated. So you want to bundle up.
Mm-hmm.
So don't forget to pack pants just because you're in Nagasaki. You still need pants and stuff and sweaters.
How about shoes? That's always a hot topic, right? Shoes. How many shoes should we bring? How many shoes should we expect to buy in Japan?
I actually brought all my own shoes. I didn't buy shoes in Japan. I haven't had to buy any yet. I bought shoes before I left Canada. I brought work shoes because you're going to be wearing shoes in school. You have indoor shoes that you wear to class and in the office. And then you're going to get you can get slippers here. I did buy a pair of slippers for the gym when you have assemblies in the gym. If you're going to be doing any sort of sports things, you're going to want indoor sports shoes. So don't forget to pack those if you have a favorite brand. I have a friend here on Iki who typically goes home and buys shoes and then brings them back when she returns. So shoes are kind of important if you have a particular size or a particular favorite brand and stuff like that.
Yeah, and also we should say indoor shoes, meaning the kind that don't scuff the gym, because if you get some kinds that do scuff the floor, it's like waste because some people get pissed. Of course, some schools won't care, but
you're gonna wear them all day too, so make sure they're comfortable. I bought a pair of indoor dressy Skechers, and they are super comfortable.
Okay. So is there anything else you want to add about packing? The overall thoughts, something that, to teach people something here. You're an expert.
If you are a typical average small size, you probably don't have much to worry about. You can probably buy whatever you want even here. They have a lot of really cool styles. Japan is also very modest, so you don't need to worry about their styles clashing with the teacher attire, because at school you want to make sure you're covered up if you're a girl, and a bit longer of sleeves, basically no tank tops. You're going to want t-shirts or 3/4 lengths or full sleeves if you're going to be doing stuff like that at school. So basically make sure you have things that are bigger than your summer shirts, longer than summer shirts.
There you go.
You can buy things here. If you're a bit larger size, you're going to have a bit of trouble because sleeves aren't going to be as long for you. For me, when I go buying shirts, they're too short. They always go to your wrist here, or sometimes they're just too high for my type of body, right? So if you are a larger size, I would pack a few extra things or a few favorites that you have at home and bring them with you, just to make sure you have something for when you're not teaching or when you are teaching. Also, don't forget your suit. You're going to need a formal suit for opening ceremonies, welcome ceremonies, and graduation. Typically you would wear black, but you don't have to just wear black as long as it's a formal suit with dress pants and a suit shirt. That's good.
Definitely. Good stuff. So Tammy, you have something to add about indoor shoes? Go ahead, Tammy.
Oh, I was just putting it in the comment thinking people would read it, but
people don't read. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying that for indoor shoes, you need 2 types of indoor shoes, one for the gym and one for the other parts of the school. For the gym, if you are planning to do any gym sports clubs that are in the gym, or even taking gym class with your students, depending on your teachers, obviously, it would probably be better if the gym indoor shoes were clean runners, preferably court shoes.
What's a clean runner? I've never even heard of that.
I can make clean runners, like just like not like dirty outside runners.
Oh, okay,
like
okay,
running.
okay.
Yeah,
Running.
brand
Oh,
new shoes.
sorry. Canadians call running shoes, not sneakers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You guys are crazy. Anywho, anyone else have anything to add about packing or anything? I want to say though, also Tammy, good advice for sure. That's definitely the right thing to do. But also, I remember one school I forgot to bring my gym shoes, and by the first day, and I kind of just kept forgetting, and I never brought it the whole year, and they didn't have a problem. Should I have done that? No, but it's not like freak out if you don't have them. Okay. Anyone have anything to add about packing? Any questions? We didn't have any specific questions about packing. Bearded Joe said, "Is Japan's heat comparable to Miami's heat?"
Oh my gosh.
Will wants to take that.
Yeah, so I'll hop in on there. So I'm from the southern U.S., so like Louisiana, which is very probably similar to Miami, and also Texas, which are brutally hot. Yeah, Japan is so humid. So when you land in Tokyo and you're wearing that thick wool suit and you go outside, you will melt. It is so humid and so hot.
Yeah.
And when you go to your prefecture for the first time wearing that same hot suit, yeah, you'll be sweating a lot.
Yeah, it's
And
like
you're going to be wearing that suit for a while.
yeah, it's instantaneous sweat on your body. It's pretty bad.
Yes.
So yeah, and also in Japan it's very normal to have a sweat rag, right? It's not a problem.
Yes.
It is
Please
nasty,
bring it
right?
in
It's
for sure.
nasty, but we get over it. So just have a sweat rag to wipe yourself off. You're going to be, floating.
Oh yeah.
What about electronics? Anyone add about that? Electronics. Solvenderlin. That sounds like a Harry Potter, I don't know, class.
Yeah.
But anyone add that? Go, Kayla, take it.
So I brought my own laptop. I know a friend who packed her own computer because she's a big computer freak and just needs to have her own computer. But like you can get things here too. Just be aware that their language settings are probably going to be in Japanese if you buy them here. Phones are going to be in Japanese, laptops and stuff like that, unless you can figure out how to change the settings. So if you're particular and you're not very good at Japanese, I make sure you bring your own. If the whole cell phone thing, that's a part of setup, but like I did bring my own. So just make sure you can bring your chargers, because for the first couple days you're not going to probably get to a store to buy stuff, but afterwards if you need more, like Convenies and other places always have chargers and extra cords. So if you're finding that it doesn't, like your chargers aren't enough or you keep forgetting it, it's pretty cheap to buy another one.
Oh, hey, for sure, buy one of those the big USB battery packs for cell phones. Buy that outside Japan because they're so expensive in Japan, but they're so useful. So buy one in your home country and bring it here. You'll use it a lot.
Okay, and
external batteries are super important for when you're not at home and you're traveling about, because your phone might die, especially if you use data.
Oh yeah. And you're probably using like maps applications a lot, and so it'll wear down the battery.
At the beginning of your trip here, you're going to be using Google Maps like a lifesaver. So
yeah,
it's going to get you everywhere. It's going to tell you where everything is for at least the first month.
Okay, so we had a question about tennis shoes. We shouldn't bring dirty, worn shoes for the gym. I don't go with dirty. I mean, dirty is a range, right? My dirty is different than your dirty, and different than Tammy's dirty. So, but yeah, don't bring dirty shoes for sure. Cara,
I washed my shoes before I packed them, so they were suitable for indoor use.
Okay, nice, yeah. So what's oh, Kara's using some slang in the chat here. Soups. Okay, let's go next. Let's go to the next tab. Someone, I can hear myself. Someone's got to use headphones. Is that you, Cara?
Nope, me.
Okay, I can hear myself echo a lot. Still there. This is gonna get edited out. Bonus content. Good. I think it was Cara. I think it was you. If you have phone set, that'd be awesome. If you don't, we got to deal with it. But okay, next. I think we're done with packing. Unless anyone has any final words to say about packing. Going once.
I can add something.
Yes.
I brought 2 checked bags with me and my carry-ons, and that's it. And that was, I didn't regret bringing anything, and I didn't feel like I needed to bring anything else.
Okay, nice.
And yeah, so part of that was I used vacuum bags for all my clothes. I didn't hear anyone mention that. That is a packing lifesaver. An important thing that I brought with me that some people did not was printouts of everything. In my carry-on, I brought with me printouts of the flight schedule, printouts of the location of the Keio Plaza Hotel, printout of information about my prefecture, and that came in really handy while I was at orientation. because what you bring with you in your carry-on is what you bring with you. Your packed bags get sent ahead to your prefecture. So
Okay.
anything that you have in your checked bags, you will not have at orientation. So your suit, etc., your chargers, any information that you want to bring with you when you may or may not have an internet connection, that has to all go in your carry-on.
Good stuff there. Yeah, vacuum thing is good. Go ahead, Kayla.
Can I say something too?
Go ahead.
Yeah, before I came, I also sent a package to my predecessor because from America. So I already have a big box of stuff here when I arrived. So you guys can do the same too. Like talk to your predecessor to see if it's okay for them to get your package.
Okay, so you sent like stuff beforehand.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's Cara. It's you with the huge echo. Do you have headphones?
Oh,
That'd be great.
Yes, I do have headphones.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's move on from packing. I know we could tell you a lot of stuff. If you have any questions, Kayla, I saw you raise your hands.
So I wanted to mention, yeah, when you come, you're gonna send one of your checked baggages ahead to your prefecture, to your organization. The other one you get to carry with you and your carry-on. So I had a backpack and a checked bag with me throughout my trip. So anything that you're going to be using at the orientation or until you get your checked baggage, which could be a week, we don't know, it depends on how fast they are. Make sure you have at least some necessity in your one checked baggage that you're carrying with you. The other one is just like extra stuff, maybe like extra shoes and your winter clothes, because you won't need that right away. So that's what I did. The other thing is I sent 2 parcels ahead of time to my contracting organization because they will accept it and hold on to it for you. I put things in there like toiletries and books that I wanted to read while I was here because I didn't know if there'd be English books here. And other things like my flute, because I wanted to have my flute for band and things like that. So if there's anything that is too bulky or you don't need right away while you're in Japan that first month, and you don't necessarily want to expect it right away, because it could take up to 3 months to get it from where you're from, especially if it's Canada Post. You can send that ahead of time, like around now, and you'll get it by September maybe, or mid-August. So I put things like toiletries that you might not find in Japan. I heard that deodorant might not be as strong, so I had my own stuff sent, things that you're preferable for. And if you're a girl,
yes, deodorant. Deodorant.
Yeah.
Japanese
asterisks on the deodorant.
pack some of your own stuff. So
Yeah. Deodorant's not good, so you want to bring that for sure. I guess I want to add. We got a few questions more about packing. We're gonna move on though, but we will get to those at the end. Abraham and Desiree. I want to add about like Xbox and stuff and all that kind of stuff. PlayStation 4. Just think before you bring it, all right? Because do you really want to go to Japan just to play PlayStation 4 and play Xbox? Like, just think about it, right? Of course, you can bring it and you can play it and have fun. But do you want to be in Japan? Go ahead.
You can also buy it here.
Yeah, that's like the point is like, do you want to be in Japan just playing video games? Is the question. Of course, you want to play video games sometimes, but do you want to bring? You want to do some stuff in Japan, have fun in Japan. If you have extra time, then you can play video games. All right. So let's move on to the next thing we're going to cover. I see some questions going on in the pack, and we got to move on though because we got a lot of stuff to cover. We will get to all those questions though. Don't you worry. At the end. So that's what I get into. Hey, I'm on the plane. I'm excited. I'm hyped up. Then you get in Japan. What happens, right? So Tammy is going to walk us through what happens from when you get off the plane to the next step you do in Japan. All right. So Tammy, where you at?
Okay, I'm gonna try. I actually came last year, so it's still very fresh in my head, somewhat fresh. So from what I remember, is that when I got off the plane, I had to wear the jet sticker, so it marks you that you're like a jet. So people know that you're gonna be a jet, and the entire plane, like Tokyo area, Narita area, knows jets are coming the entire day. So everyone's prepared for you, so don't have to worry about that. I got off the plane. And then there was like people working and just holding giant signs, jet, and you would just go up to them, or they come up to you and they point you to the direction. They even made a separate line in customs just for jet. So like we just kind of budged in front of all the other arrivees from other countries who are traveling. Gotta admit that felt pretty good. think waited in line for maybe like half an hour to an hour. There were a lot of jets. Then we just went through customs. They give you your residence card. At customs took like less than 2 minutes. Then we picked up our luggage, and then we went out. As soon as we exited the checked baggage area, we there were more people with signs, and we're just basically pointing you in the direction of where you're supposed to go. So you'd be following other jets in front of you. And then it took a while if you have a lot of luggage, just because you have to wait for an elevator. Then we got to this bus area, and they asked how many baggage you want to send to your organization. And so at that time, I picked 2 of my checked baggage. I sent it to my organization. You can, if I remember correctly, you can take one checked baggage, so one of the giant baggage, to the Kayla hotel and all your carry-ons. However, you are sharing a room with 3 other people, so there isn't much room, just FYI. And depending on how you get to your actual placement, it is probably better to send both of them off, depending, especially if you take a plane to your placement. So I dropped off my 2 checked baggage. The fees I would pay would come later on in the year, so I didn't have to worry about that. You just drop it off, they tag it. They also give you baggage tags that say what your location is, so they know where to send it. And then you got on a bus, waited until the bus filled, and you got off to the KO Plaza Hotel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my understanding is it's very like, there's no way you can get lost, basically. They don't want you to get lost. They make sure it's impossible, right?
Yeah, you also can't deviate. I don't know if you can I'm going to go get this from the airport. I'm going to get this from the airport. I don't think you can do that. They just kind of really pushed me. There was no time.
Cattle situation.
Yeah, pretty much herding cattle. Yeah,
okay. Stacy, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yes, yeah, I will absolutely confirm that. I want to get this thing from the airport. You will not be able to do that. It is literally like herding cattle. You will be funneled directly from the plane to customs to the luggage area. I had some extra stuff to do with the luggage area because I was bringing in medication. So I had to declare things. Mm-hmm. But it's still very simple. You are still very herded. Out the door to the bus. The bus takes about an hour and a half to the KO Hotel Plaza, where you are continually herded until you arrive at your room. It is absolutely impossible to get lost.
Yeah, that makes sense. They would have. Oh God, Jesus!
You gotta make it.
All right,
guys, I think James.
All right, that was too much expert knowledge came in. I couldn't handle it. Yeah, that makes sense, right? You don't want anyone to get lost, because some people it's their first time abroad and they're really kind of gets a little big wide-eyed. Japan, I'm freaking out. They make sure you don't get lost, so don't even worry about it. Really, they don't tell you where to go. Don't worry about it. Does anyone else have anything to add for that?
I would say the only additional thing I would add is before you even get off the flight, while you're still on the flight attendants, if this is your first time abroad, will give you a customs declaration card where you have to say, I'm bringing X, Y, and Z in. I wouldn't worry about it. It's typically for people coming in who are bringing in tobacco or alcohol or have to declare something that costs money. I think it would be a very unusual occasion for any jet to have to declare something like that.
Yeah, unless you're bringing like $1 million too. So.
Yeah, exactly. So there's really no need to worry about that. If you get confused, flight attendants can help you, or also I almost 100% guarantee you will be on a flight with other people who have traveled abroad before. So you can ask them, hey, this is my first time doing this. Can you help me?
Yeah. Don't worry about that. You'll figure it out. I know it's very nervous. I was nervous as hell when first time I came to Japan. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? But you'll figure it out. You'll find your way. Don't worry about it too much. Anyone else want to add anything else?
I have something to add.
Go ahead.
So I remember correctly, before we got off the plane and when they gave you your these, I think they gave you a residence card or something. I told you about the residence card, but I think at some point someone told me to check that your visa was for 3 years. Though sometimes they'll try to give you 1 year or something, but it didn't happen to me. I don't quite remember the specifics.
You got a 3-year visa. You got a 3-year visa right away?
like we got our visas from like the consulate, but it's just like I think the residency card or something. You
Yeah.
had to like double check that it was for 3 years. It didn't have to be 3 years. It's just that if you wanted to stay, it just make like staying in on jet for another 2 to 3 years a lot easier. So you didn't have to renew it.
Okay, you're talking about the residence card. That's like the gaijin card. It's called like the thing
Yeah.
that says like you can be in Japan and you're fine. It's basically so you
Yeah.
don't have to carry your passport everywhere. If you have that card, you're fine. You always got to have that card though. Don't forget the card.
I do like the card.
Yeah. So anyone else have anything to add from the Steam panel?
I'm not sure if you want just for FYI though, if you want to explore Tokyo, I think the best time would be the day you arrived, just because there was nothing going on. However, when we got to the hotel, I think it's like they gave us an orientation, we had to grab our stuff, and it took about an hour from when we got to the hotel before we could actually like explore Tokyo. So from the airport to leaving the hotel and actually having my free time was about 4 hours.
So you had 4 hours just to kill.
No, 4 hours to like do everything, and then you had your free time.
Okay, so do that stuff, then you can go whatever you want. Okay.
Yeah, from
4 to 5.
Yeah, from the airplane to finally arriving in your room in the Kyo Hotel Plaza. If you're an introvert like me, that was not fun. Because you will be crammed into the same space with people for 4 hours doing the exact same thing. So it's for me, it was my first time in Japan, and it was very exhausting. I did not explore Tokyo that night. I absolutely just went to bed.
Okay.
Some advice there, but I was rooming with other people who had been to Japan before, and they were absolutely confident in going out and exploring Tokyo that night. So
okay, so yeah, it depends on your personality what you want to do. Let's keep the train on the rails and moving on. Let's talk about the crazy thing known as orientation. Some people say orientation is fun, some say it sucks. We have some mixed opinions among the Steam panel here, but let's go to Natalie to tell us a little bit about what orientation is, what to expect. Natalie.
Sorry, me?
Yep, that's Natalie.
Oh, orientation. Oh, sorry. I came in the April departure, so my experience with orientation is probably a bit different. My orientation was only for 1 day. So we arrived on a Tuesday, and then we had, that evening to go out and do stuff. And then all day Wednesday was orientation, and it was a lot of panels, things like what to expect, and dealing with culture shock, and dealing with office politics and that kind of thing. So I don't remember a whole lot. I think I signed up for this one on the Google Docs, to be honest with you.
Okay. So was it was it fun? Was it just boring? Were you just waiting for the time to go? What was it like for you?
It was really bad.
Okay.
It was really torturous. And the good thing was that when I came in April, it wasn't so hot as other jets have talked about, coming in August and it's really hot. And because it's orientation, you do have to be in your suit all day. So a lot of people were complaining that it was really uncomfortable to be in your suit. So in April, it was okay, but it's still uncomfortable to be, I don't know, and people aren't used to being in a suit. A lot of jets are, new grads and stuff. So everyone just kind of looked really awkward. And it was, and I don't know, the panels were okay. I didn't particularly find them very useful. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, so Tammy, you have anything to add to that about your orientation experience?
So I came in August in Group B, so I do have my schedule here if anyone has any questions about the orientation. The panels were like sitting in a university lecture. You have a ton of people, you sit there and you listen. You're like, oh god. Like, you don't really have as much interactions. When we did do skills for senior high school, I'm a senior high school ALT. Sorry, just let me back up for that. So elementary, senior high school, and junior high school get split up for the orientation in certain parts so that you can do specific skills for your teaching experience. That was a little bit better because there was a bit more interaction. I found that was a little bit helpful. It gave me ideas. But the other ones was just kind of preparation for Japan or just letting you know stuff about Japan. That stuff was also in my local prefectural orientation, so it wasn't too big of a deal for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they give you? Stacey, you have anything you want to add to that?
To the orientation experience in general, or
Yeah,
to
yeah.
what Tammy said?
Anything you want to add about orientation in general?
Oh yeah, orientation in general. It's 3 days. Breakfast is very, very early on all of these days, but absolutely get up and take advantage of it because there will not be a point during the day when you can get a snack.
Okay, so
So,
yeah, we just had a question about do you get food?
yeah,
So do you want to answer that one? Do you get food during orientation?
yes, you are served both breakfast and lunch, I believe. Tammy, you can correct me if that's wrong, but I remember receiving lunch.
Yeah, we received lunch.
Sometimes
Yeah.
dinner too.
You get
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that
you
only
get
the one
breakfast,
time.
lunch. There was a one time of a big dinner, and it's very mean because they put all the food out buffet style and then make you listen to a speech for 45 minutes before they actually let you at the food. So that was
Why don't you
rude.
do that?
But yeah, absolutely take advantage of breakfast. Get up early, drag yourself out of bed, get ready for the day, go get your breakfast. They are full day panels and seminars. I found only one of those panels helpful, and it was an ALT Q&A panel
Mm.
that was incredibly informative. Pretty much the rest of the panels, I have not applied anything I learned from those. They were effectively useless.
Okay.
Is I mean, not to be brutally honest or anything, but that was how I felt, was like that I didn't really get any new information from them. But that ALT Q&A panel is essential. And yeah, I think that would be the only thing I would add about orientation. It's a long day. It's about from what, 7 to 7, I seem to recall.
Oh, okay, that's pretty long. Yeah. So that's kind of why
Yeah.
we're doing these webinars, by the way, is Q&A, question and answer with ALT, and we have all these jets here for you right now. So go ahead, Tammy. You want to say something?
Can I just break down the days of what they'll do, just in general? So, just a brief outline, really quickly.
Briefly.
Well, it might be different for them.
True.
Yeah. Well, basically, what pretty much is like, first day was like breakfast, ceremony, manners, orientations from like till like, as according to this was till like 6:30, and then there was a welcome reception at 6:30 to 8. But I don't think it was mandatory, but it was a good chance to meet the going to the same prefecture.
To meet peeps.
And that was from till 8 o'clock, so then you have time to explore after.
Okay.
And then the second day was more about teaching stuff, like teaching grammar, listening, like how to do it, and give you like some tips. And there were ALTs doing those orientations. That lasted till 4:15, and then at 4:15 there was a prefecture meeting. So you meet the people picking you up from your prefecture, like your what are those called? PAs, the prefectural advisors. You'll meet them, and they'll talk about how leaving things will take place, like if you have to drop off your luggage in a certain place at the hotel, or like about how you're gonna leave, like to what airplane, what time to meet the next day. They'll tell you about that day. And then when that is all done, I think some people have embassy meetings if they wanted to go. Again, not mandatory. Like if you want to go to the Canadian or the American embassy, you could. Or they have like some of the prefecture ALTs from your prefecture may have a party that day, which Yamanashi did. Like because it was close to Tokyo, we had a party for the newcomers. And then the next day, it was just breakfast and leaving to your actual area. Except your area, depending on where you're from, you would leave at different times.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much orientation.
We got some questions about attendance. I mean, I don't know why you're asking that. I mean, you don't want to go to one day. Yeah, I think attendance is taken. Thanks, Erin, for taking that question. And, don't try to skip out of there or anything. What are you thinking about? Come on. Be smart. Don't lose your job before you start. Okay. Anything else on the orientation? Anything you want to add? Esteemed panel, I turn to you.
Hey, I'll add something real quick. This is Will. So when I came to Japan, I was a vegan. So in terms of food at orientation, you might have trouble if you have a really strict diet, like maybe people that are, don't eat dairy or don't eat eggs or don't eat pork or some things. So so be prepared and know that. So if you need to bring like some snacks, so that you can eat and still get like your protein or whatever and feel full, then do that. Because I had a little trouble eating at orientation.
How did you handle that? How did you handle that situation? Like, did you just eat what you could, or did you tell someone, "Hey,
I,
I'm
I
vegetarian," or what did you do?
I ate what I could because I didn't want to cause any problems or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also brought, so for me as an American, Cliff Bars. I don't know if people know those, but they're great because they're like protein bars and there's like no allergens and they're like all vegan. And so I was just eating a couple of those things every day. So I was staying full.
Okay, nice. Okay, that's good to know.
So yeah, maybe bring some snacks from home. Like that's probably good advice for anybody. Bring snacks from home because yeah, you may find the food lacking.
Well, here's kind of a I don't know how important the question this is. But what was the food like? Japanese food, or was it like did they just like load up with hamburgers? Because like yeah, you guys like this.
It was Western at our orientation.
Is that true for
It was
everybody else?
all Western food.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think if I remember, breakfast was like scrambled eggs. It was like really rich, soft, like really rich scrambled eggs, and there was like, a couple of fruits and soup. Like it wasn't like anything like it wasn't like a giant awesome buffet. It was just
Yeah,
kind of
I think
basics.
eggs and bread.
Okay, let's keep it simple,
Yeah.
right?
And I think like lunch was like curry or something, like curry and rice. It's some kind of rice dish with a stew. If I remember.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
nothing extravagant.
So I remember the food. There was a mixture of Western and Japanese food. The breakfasts were Western. For one lunch we had curry and rice. For another lunch we had some sort of pasta, and it came out in different things. They served us soup first. It was like a multi-course meal for one lunch. And then for the buffets, the welcome reception, and then before they sent, I think the embassy reception, there was a mix of Western and Japanese food. So some seafood and some more Western style food.
I guess
I did think.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I did think the reception buffet had more variety and better food.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm
Yes, yeah.
wrong.
Okay, let's get so yeah, they probably they try to have something for everybody, I guess, you know. But if you are have a special diet, keep that in mind, bring something. Cool. Desiree, another nice question. I think we're gonna save that question for the end because that's a big one, but we'll get to that at the end, I promise. I do promise. Okay, let's keep the train moving. Let's talk about the always important topic of omiyage, which is the presents you got to give your schools you go to, okay? It's not really optional, you have to do it. But what you give is very optional. So let's talk to our friend Erin here, who has not introduced herself. Erin, what do you know about omiyage? What advice would you give people?
Right. Can you hear me? Is this working, first of all?
Yeah, I can hear. We can hear you. We're all good on my end. They can't hear.
Good. Yeah. So omiyage, what they tell you, I think, there's like this template that all of the returning ALTs send to the successors that tells you something to the effect of, oh, you should bring maybe everything for all of your teachers, or maybe bring something important for the important people that help you. I would not really listen to that. My predecessor told me to, like she said, she brought something for everyone to share, which I think is a good idea. Mm-hmm. But I took it a little too seriously, and I work at one school. I have about 80 teachers at my school. I tried to bring an individual something for every teacher. And it was an epic fail because you will come in summertime, and when it's summer, a lot of the teachers aren't even there. They're on vacation, they're off doing something else. And I tried to hunt down all of the teachers, and I ended up not even hunting down most of them. And my omiyage sat in the locker room until now. I finally got rid of them about 2 weeks ago for lesson prizes.
Nice.
But I would bring something like some boxes of something for everyone to share. That way they can just kind of take it as they please. And then for the important people, like your principal, your vice principal, your go-between teacher, maybe the teachers that you will directly teach with, maybe bring something a little bit nicer for them and give it to them individually. Because if you have a lot of teachers at your school like I do, it's just near impossible to hunt them all down. As good intentioned as it is.
Yeah, it sounds like it always sounds like a good idea, but it's really just impossible and not fun. You got to find all the teachers. Some teachers you've never seen, the once a week or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And as for what to bring, I liked what they tell you about trying to find something unique to your hometown or wherever you're from, I do think that's a good idea. If it's food, I think food is the best kind of omiyage because if you give them knickknacks, I notice that they kind of just sit on the desk like for the whole year and they don't do anything with them.
Yeah.
So I think food is easiest as long as it doesn't melt. I'm from New Orleans, so I ended up bringing like these teeny tiny bottles of Tabasco for my individual omiyage that I tried to give to every teacher. So I brought like 80 little bottles of Tabasco with me.
Wow.
Since Tabasco is from Louisiana, got rid of about half of them before I couldn't find the other teachers. And for my go-between principal, vice principal, I brought some Mardi Gras masks for them. And then for everyone, I also brought something for everyone to share. I brought 2 big boxes of tea for everyone to share, and that actually did get used. So
nice.
Highly recommend the something for everyone to share route and not individually try and hunt down every teacher.
That's good stuff. Yeah, and also, I want to add on the knickknack thing. Knickknacks are like, whenever you give someone knickknacks, what happens to it? They put it on the desk, they forget about it. Food though is something you can hey, here's this. They'll eat it a few days later, and you talk about it again. That's another kind of free conversation starter, stuff like that. So yeah, go with something they can eat. It's always better. Natalie, what do you want to add to this topic?
Hello.
Yep.
All right. So I brought some things to show you what people in my office do.
Ooh.
So these are some examples of things that have appeared on my desk. So it's food and it's individually wrapped, which seems to be like the important thing, like little things that are individually wrapped. And these came from teachers that I don't know. So it was kind of like just kind of on my desk, like obligatory. I went somewhere and I'm bringing something back.
Yeah.
And then teachers that I work with more one-on-one. So my JTE that went to Aomori brought me back like a little can of apple juice. And this was something that he didn't give to everybody. This was something that he just gave to the teachers that he works more closely with.
Yeah.
So that seems to be like the thing, like tiny individually wrapped edible things for everyone. And then people that you work more closely with, maybe something a little bit nicer.
Yeah, that's not like it's not seen as rude to give like your group a little bit extra. That's not totally fine. Yeah.
No, it happens all the time. Like even people that go places, sometimes they don't even give something to everybody. They just give it to the vice principal or the principal and people they work closely with. Mm-hmm. My problem was when I was coming and I joined my prefectural forum and I asked, hey, what do I do for Omiyage? I got a lot of non-advice.
Yeah.
I got people saying like, don't bring Omiyage. It's not a good precedent.
Yeah, that's
it's not necessary to bring. So I got a lot of that. And my predecessor said the same thing. She was like, I didn't bring Omiyage. You don't have to bring Omiyage. And it's a good point, but for me, I kind of felt bad because I really did want to bring Omiyage and no one was giving me advice.
So it's like you don't. I mean, some people. I don't know why it's kind of like a thing. Like you don't have to give omiyage, but yeah, don't you want to have a easy way to talk to people when you first get there? It's so easy to say, "Here's my omiyage," and then it starts a conversation. It can.
It's really up to you. Like if some people don't have the time and money to pick up omiyage, and no one's gonna say, "Oh my God, the ALTs didn't bring anything." Like no one's gonna do that. But if you do bring it, like it's great. And for my situation, I had 2 schools and my predecessor told me that at one of my schools, my base school, I'm going to have a supervisor that is going to be doing like all the setup for me. She would be setting up my apartment and helping me with all that. So I wanted to get something nicer for her. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I went to a bulk store and I got a bunch of, I'm from Canada, so I got maple syrup candies. So they're little individually wrapped and I didn't know how many teachers I would have. So I bought a bunch. And then when I got here, I kind of put them in like a little container with a little note saying like, from the new ALT Natalie.
Okay, that's nice.
And I left it in the break room.
Okay, that's huge and nice. So just people can come pick it up.
So it was just, yeah, so it was just all there. And then teachers that, you know, did see the notes, someone would come say hi, and it was a nice way to meet teachers like, oh, I got it.
Okay.
Oishi this. And I'm like, thanks.
So how many teachers did you plan?
And
How many, I just, so some people don't have any reference at all. So how many teachers did you plan on, you know, how many little things did you prepare? Like 30, 40, 50? How many did you have?
I think I brought like 50. I didn't
Okay.
bring much. I had like 80 teachers at each school, but I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
So I brought 50, and I brought like 25 and put them in a little container, and 25 in another little container at the other school. And I brought little maple syrups and little boxes of tea for the vice principals and my supervisor. So I think I got like four
Okay.
of each, maybe, for like the supervisors. And I ended up keeping some because there weren't as many important people as I thought there would be.
Okay.
So but it was just for the vice principal and my supervisors.
Yeah, the kind of
So,
special people.
Just a few little things, and they weren't that expensive, like a little box of maple tea and things like that. But yeah, so like it was said, something that represents your country or your hometown or something.
Yeah, it's always good.
And preferably edible and individually wrapped. For people coming in August, be careful with chocolate. I've heard chocolate might not be the best idea coming in August.
Yeah, definitely not.
So watch
So does anyone have any other closing points on Omiyage? Anyone else want to add anything? The Steam panel? Cara? Haven't heard from you in a while. What are you doing over there?
Yeah, no, I'm just reading in the comments. I think when I decided what to get from my principals and vice principals, I did ask my predecessor what they like. So my predecessor told me that my principal really likes red wine, but I didn't get him red wine because I didn't want the bottle to break in my suitcase, because I had that happen to me before. So instead, I got him a bottle holder kind of thing that has Australian Aboriginal design on it.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's cool. Something he could definitely use. Yeah.
It's not a big gift, so it's easy to carry to school as well.
So that's a good hint. So if you can't always do that, but ask your predecessor what do they like, and then Cara was able to give something that, even though she knows he will like that and be able to use it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything else? Any closing points on Omiyage? Last chance. 3 going once, going twice. Kayla comes into the last second with the save.
Yeah, so Omiyage is really fun, I think. And I did the same thing. I brought like ice wine tea from Ontario and the maple candies as well. Natalie, great save for teachers and students. They love them. I think it's also cool to bring things for the kids that you can give away as prizes, like mini Omiyage for the kids. Preparing the month beforehand because Canada Day was coming, so I got like a whole bag of those Canada Day flag pins. The kids love them. They put them on their pencil cases and everything. You can also get like stickers that they won't have there because they think that's cool too. And I got like a bunch of buttons, Canada Day buttons, and there was something else. But yeah, like getting them little gifts like that are really small and cheap or even free, those make really good prizes in class as Omiyage for the kids.
Yeah. So so you went the extra step to give Omiyage to the students too. That's not something you have to do, but you went that and it was cool for you.
Just not pencils. Yeah. Don't bring pencils unless they're mechanical. My kids hated them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they don't use them. They don't use anything that needs a sharpener.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, every situation is different, right, guys? Come on. Okay. Okay, so let's move the trains going. Unless anyone else did anything, Steam panel, anything?
Can I just add something quickly?
Go ahead.
Okay. Just if you do bring bigger Omiyage, I just think prepare a few extra, because sometimes like you find that there's like certain teachers that end up helping you along. You're like, oh, I wish I had that, like an extra, not like whatever to give them.
Yeah. Don't have not enough, because that's kind of embarrassing, right? Okay, let's move. The train is gone. Of course, you got any questions about Omiyage, ask it in the chat. We will get to it. I see some coming. Homemade maple syrup. That sounds cool. That sounds good to me, Abraham. Let's get to the first day of school. outside of the classroom, though, guys. So you're gonna get to your schools, gonna introduce to people and stuff. What exactly happens that day? Share with everyone. Cara.
Hi. Yay. So my first day of school, actually, there weren't any classes. So it was during the summer. And I remember at 7 a.m., I think my ALT supervisor came and picked me up from my place. I followed his car to get to my school. So I'm in the real countryside. So my school is about 40 minutes from my house. So I went to school and I was pretty nervous because it's my first time. And we all had to do a mini self-introduction. So which I obviously prepared beforehand and had my friends check if there are any errors. So yeah, we got to school and the first thing was obviously going to the staff room. He opened the door for me and I just like, "Ohayo gozaimasu," like say it really loudly. Like, "Ohayo gozaimasu," and then "Watashi wa Cara desu." Or if you want to go more formal, you can say "Watashi wa Cara to moshimasu." Use like Kayla. But and then all of the teachers just stood up and looked at me and they're like, "Oh, like she's so young," and wow. And some of them were like, "Oh man, she looks like one of our students." But because I'm pretty short too, so yeah, and they were all really excited to meet me. So that made me feel a lot better as the day went on. So since that was during the summer and there weren't any classes, my supervisors just took me to walk around the school and meet students because students would be there for club activities. So I did get to meet quite a few students on my first day. So I just introduced myself in English. I try to speak as much as English as possible at school with the students, but with the teachers, I mostly speak in Japanese. My supervisor also took me to around town to just check out what's famous or what restaurants I can go to at my free time. So yeah, that was good. That was also a choir festival on the same day. So I went to check it out with some teachers. So yeah, it wasn't a lot going on, but I just made sure that like I was presentable. I wore a suit that day, put on like makeup that day, and yeah, just make sure that I was smiley and nice to everyone.
Yeah,
I still am.
That sounds like a good. That sounds like a good day. It's like a pretty good day. So you have to do a lot of stuff. You got to be a part of the school. That seems like a really perfect first day. But I guess we should talk about when it's not that situation. So I know, Will, your situation was a little different than that.
Yeah. So mine was definitely different. So every situation is different.
Yeah.
Was that would have been like a Thursday after we had done like half a day of prefectural orientation. And then they brought all of the new JTEs, like the English teachers from the school, to meet the new ALTs. And so they kind of paired us up. And so we met them for the first time, like in a public group setting. So that was a little strange.
Yeah.
And then from there, we went to eat lunch. So immediately, like you're meeting this person for the first time, and then you're like going to lunch with them. And yeah, and so be of your English. So as far as using proper English, your speed, your grammar, not using slang, because usually a lot of these Japanese teachers, I mean, the Japanese level or the English level really varies a lot. They could be pretty fluent, or they could just be able to really read English well or write English well, but maybe they haven't spoke to native speakers very much. So prepare for maybe some awkwardness there. And yeah, my first day after lunch, of course, wearing the suit, and it was brutally hot. We went to the school and I had to meet the principal.
Okay.
And so for that, suddenly you're meeting like the most important guy in the school. And so you want to be able to remember some of those Japanese greeting phrases. You want to bow correctly. And yeah, be polite. So it's going to be a little awkward.
Yeah. It's a good point though. When you're talking to even if your JT seems like they speak English pretty well, you got to cut out all the kind of sarcasm, slang, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
If you start using it, they might just lose you, and they will pretend that they got you, even though they don't got you. So it turns into a I don't know. It's not a good situation. They're like, oh, yeah, that was a great joke.
That's exactly right.
They have no
They'll
idea.
nod and smile, but
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have no idea.
So like if you have, especially when you have a request about something, they might just say, oh yeah. They didn't know what you even asked. So they said that, right? So be simple with your English, especially at the beginning, until you figure out how good your JT is. Anything you want to add about that? Anyone else in the esteemed panel?
Can I add to that also?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so my first day was actually a lot like Will's. If you're coming to Hyogo, just know that Hyogo BOE is not all that together. So we also like went from Tokyo to Hyogo, and we also met like in a public setting just like that. But last year at least, like between all of the Group A and Group B, like arrivals, like I came in Group A, but my predecessor was in Group B the previous year. We had a week of overlap, so my predecessor actually came to meet me in that public setting too. So my predecessor came with me to school, as did my go-between and my vice principal. So it's kind of overwhelming meeting all three of them all at once. Like, okay, but it was nice having my predecessor there. But I also went straight to my school, like in my suit, like in the middle of summer, and you're going to be dying. They quickly introduced me like in the school, and it's going to be very nervous and nerve-wracking. And I think somebody gave me a brief tour, and then they were like, okay, you're on your own now. And basically they told me it's okay to have nothing to do. It's okay to be bored. Here's your desk, do something.
Okay. So
yeah, that was about it.
So as you can see though, every situation is different. Some people have, you never know what exactly is going to happen. So just be prepared for that. But it's good to know what you have to do, right? A quick question here. Let's get to one question about this topic. Let's ask Kayla about this one. Was it right after you arrived in Japan? Did you have a few days before going to your school? Kayla.
Hey! So mine was again a little bit different. I got delayed by a month and I arrived in September. But still sort of thing worked out. So because of the flights to get to my island, my supervisor met me in Nagasaki airport.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed the night in Omura, and then the next day caught the morning flight out, because by the time my plane landed in Nagasaki airport, I missed the last plane to Iki.
Okay.
So when we got here, she drove me to the school. My first place was the school. So I'm in my suit, I'm hot already, and I'm like just wide-eyed. Oh my gosh, this is where I'm going to be living for the next year or so, right? And the first thing that happens, we get out of the car, there's like a line of students with a sign that says welcome, and they have like the Japan and Canada flag on it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
That's
but
cool.
I was like super shy because there's also a bunch of teachers out there too, and the principal and vice principal, and they're all just like eager to meet me, right?
Yeah.
First thing we do is go into the principal's office, and then they're like talking, and the supervisor's basically my only translator here, like what's happening. And I'm using the very basic introduction Japanese that I know, like, how do you do? It's nice to meet you. I'm Kayla. I'm from Canada. I'm very happy to meet you. So we did that. We signed the contract papers with the Jim Cho sensei. I can't remember how to say it now.
The secretary person.
For the house.
Mm.
And then they took me to my second school, and we met the JTEs there for a little bit, and the principal there as well. And then after that, this is still my first day. My supervisor took the afternoon off of school and was taking me around, and that gets into setup. So
okay, cool. So so obviously you can see everyone has different situations. You got a cool flag and stuff. That's pretty cool.
It's still on my desk.
That's pretty cool. I never heard that. Okay, so anything else? Anyone want to add anything unique about their situation?
Can I say something?
Cara's back.
Yeah, and also, I know for myself at least, we are only scheduled from 8:15 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. So you can go at 4. One of my JTs is always like, Cara, it's 4, like you should go home. Like all of them would stay at school to, for overtime work.
They'll stay way longer than you, yeah.
Yeah, they stay way longer than ALTs, but this JT especially would always be like, Cara, you should go home, like don't stay here. So don't feel bad leaving on time on your first day. You don't have to stay till 6 p.m. to make a good impression.
Yeah. Don't wait for the other teachers to leave because you'll be there all night till 9.
Yeah.
And sometimes they even spend the night at school, so don't do that. Yeah. Anything? Go ahead, Will.
Oh yeah. Quick thing. So you're going to meet a ton of people, and if you're not good with names, like remembering names, keep a little notebook, and so you can write, like, after you've said hello and goodbye to the person, you can write down, okay, Tanaka Sensei or whatever, and like maybe a couple comments, and you can rely on that. That'll be so handy because it's awful if you meet another person again, and you're like, oh, hajime mashite.
Yeah,
Like, no, we met last week. That's
Yeah,
embarrassing. So
don't do that. Don't be that kind of person.
Try to make it.
Yeah, don't be that kind of person.
Don't be like me.
Don't be like Will.
Make notes so that you can help remember, all these people, because you're going to meet. I mean, my school's got 1,200 people and like 90 teachers. So you can't remember all those names. So yeah, take some notes.
Yeah, definitely. And especially, I mean, that goes for a lot of all the other teachers too, but especially the teacher you're going to work with, it's going to be hard to remember the names, especially if you're more than one school. So just write them down. Don't be stupid. Don't be a douche. No other way to say it, right? Sorry about that. Okay, so let's go to...
make some comments. Old lady, young lady, short, tall, like whatever comments you need to help remember the person. Likes baseball, likes music, whatever.
Yes, that's a good idea too. Something you could talk about, because sometimes you'll be searching for something. I wish I could talk about something, but they like baseball. Cool. But that's good stuff too. First day at school outside of the classroom. Last chance, anybody?
Yeah, you can draw a seating plan for that too, and just fill in the teacher's name.
Ooh.
Yeah, on the seat on your plan, so you can always recognize them.
You can ask your school for like a seating chart too. Like I already had one at my desk, and I just had to translate the names.
Yeah, it will be in kanji. The names will be in kanji.
Prepped all that for me.
Ooh.
Oh
yeah, get it translated. Lifesaver.
Look at this.
Yeah, mine's on the door of the staff room actually.
Yeah.
For the students, because they walk in, they're like, I need to see whoever sends in. They look on the door just to figure out the seats. So look on the door.
We have an art teacher who drew all the teachers' faces, and then when I got there, he drew mine from a photo that they took, and then they have a chart of all the teachers with their names and their faces.
That's pretty cool. Every situation's different, guys. You never know. Okay, let's move to next. Let's move on. We got some good. I know we got some good questions there. Tegan's asking a lot of questions. I see that. We'll get to that at the end. I promise. Okay. Let's get to first class's intro lesson. So I'll take a little bit of this one. So the intro lesson, the whole point of it is to be fun. That's your goal. And to think about anything else is not irrelevant. It's important, right? They want to learn about you. But the most important goal is for everyone to be having fun during that class. If you do that, you're successful. Everything else is like extra, right? If they learn where you're from, that's cool. If they learn your name, that's even better. But if they have fun, that's the main goal, because you have a lot of the chances to teach them all that stuff, right? So what I always tell people to do is, instead of giving a speech and having a quiz afterwards, which is what a lot of people do, and I'm sure a lot of people on this esteemed panel did that same thing. That's cool. But to make it even better, I don't start with a speech at all. I just start with questions, right? So especially if you're going to junior high school, right? If you're working in elementary school, you got to tweak this a little bit, but start with questions instead of a speech, right? So first you start out with, what's my name? Now, of course, you haven't said their name yet, so maybe they don't know it. But in most cases, some students have known your name by that time. So someone will be able to say it, James, okay, right? They got the right answer. My name's James. They said James, right answer. So at that point, I write a scoreboard up on the board. And I split the class into kind of groups. Like, so every 2 rows of chairs will be one group. And I give that team a point. And we move on. Now they learn my name that fast, right? Maybe have them repeat it once or twice. Then we go to the next question. Where am I from? Now they don't know that, right? But they can guess countries, right? So then you start teaching people to raise their hand. They raise your hand. Canada, nope. Australia, nope. America, yes. And then I give that team a point. And sometimes I'll write the American outline of the American country there on the board too, so they can remember it, and my name, of course. Now they learn where I'm from and my name, and they're having fun in the game instead of just me telling them everything they just forget. Then we move on to the next question, right? So what's my favorite animal? Of course they don't know that, but they can easily understand that question. They can guess. So I would do that for maybe 10 questions. How old am I is a good one. What's my favorite Japanese food is a good one. What's my favorite sport is a good one. They can learn a lot about you all through this game. That is way better than just giving a speech and then them zoning out. At the end, you have a quiz, and you're like, oh, okay, I don't know any of these answers. But that's just how I do it, and I think it's a good way. You can do it a lot of other ways. If you're going to do the speech route, you have to have visual aids, right? intense visual aids because a lot of people don't understand what aren't going to understand what you're saying, right? So visual aids are huge if you want to go that that kind of speech route. Now, if you want to combine the two for the ultimate intro lesson, you can have those visual aids, but when they get the answer right, you show the visual aid for a little bit more oomph, right? That's just what I do for intro lesson. Will, you want to add something about what you did for your intro lesson?
Yeah, yours sounds a lot better than mine.
Okay.
So I was kind of told you're going to do an introduction lesson with like a PowerPoint and a present, like a projector and a screen and all that. So my situation is I'm in a senior high school, and it's a higher level senior high school, so the students' English level is usually pretty good. But what I did find is that when I got here, I spoke really fast and used slang and my grammar. My grammar is fine, but how we talk is different than how English is taught here.
Yeah.
It's different than our casual conversation. So I found very quickly, if we go at our normal speed, they will be lost. So yeah, keep the English slow and simple. Pause. Write those important words on the board. My name is William, William. Use hand gestures. Use handouts. Like anything, so that they've got lots of different ways of knowing the important words. And not overwhelming them. So trying to keep it simple and like you said, using visual aids. So I use lots of pictures. So even if students had no clue what I was saying, like if they see a big picture of this, kind of food or like this sport or whatever, they totally understand that. And so that's what they love. Like you said, like keep it fun. So like wherever you're from, think of things that are like cool and funny or exciting or shocking from that place. And that's what you want to show in the introduction. So people like want to listen and pay attention.
Yeah, and you could always find a funny picture of anything. Like even if your town is known for like sheep or something, there's a funny picture online of a sheep. So use that one. You know what I mean? Don't use the encyclopedia.
And the other thing is, and you're going to see puzzled faces. You're going to see students that are looking at you like, huh? So if you start seeing that, get the JTE to translate. If it's just a word that you can't simplify anymore or explain otherwise, just look at the JTE and gesture and ask them to translate.
And I guess I want to add one thing about teaching in general. Like one person taught me that I'll never forget. I don't know how many years ago it was, but the best ALTs speak the least. And I know it sounds stupid, like, that means you're not doing your job great, but that's not true at all. The least you speak, the least, the as few words as possible to get your point across, that's what you want to do, because that means there's less chance of them, not understanding and zoning out, right? So use the minimum words possible. It takes time to get practice to get good at it, right? But the ultimate class is when you say only the words necessary for them to get the point. And in your intro lesson, like I said, what's my name? Where am I from? You use these words because, of course, they can usually, if you're in junior high school, they can understand 100% of what you said. So think about the power you give them. Wow, I understood everything what he just asked me. That's crazy, right? But if you give a speech about, well, I went to junior high school and in Francis Scott Key High School, then I started playing baseball, and then after baseball I picked up soccer, and everyone doesn't know what you said. But if you can keep it so they can understand as much as possible what you said, that first class especially, think about how much fun they're going to be having. Like, oh wow, I can understand what the guy says, and I can't wait for the class in the future, right? So just something to think about. Does anyone have anything to add about first classes or intro lesson?
Can I?
Sure.
So I have a base school and 3 visiting schools, and my visiting schools change every year. And something that I've learned to keep in mind is that not every JT will want the same kind of intro lesson. So what I've had to do was prepare different kinds of intro lessons. So I have the one where they say, like, you have the whole class, you have a full 50 minutes. You can use a PowerPoint, you can do anything. And that's like my full introduction, where I have, PowerPoint, I have a bingo quiz and things like that. And then sometimes I have a JT that says, okay, like I have something that I want the students to do for the last half, so you just have about 20 minutes or 15 minutes or something. So then I have like a smaller one, and I kind of do what you did, James, with groups and questions, or crisscross if they're set up like a grid.
Yeah, so that's
So,
really quickly. It's
I'll-
like have the students stand up, ask a question. Whoever gets that right, they can choose. I don't know what you say. What did you say for the words straight inside, Natalie?
Oh,
What?
I say down across.
Okay, there you go. So down across. So if I choose down,
Down or across, yeah.
the whole row, the whole
Or
person's row.
or just me. They can do
oh,
that
just
too.
me. That's cool. That's kind of the good way. That's funny. So, anyways, student raises their hand, says apple. Apple's the correct answer, right? They choose down or across. If they say down, the whole row, straight forward to back, gets to sit down with them. If they choose across, everyone in the side gets to go. And if they choose just them,
Yeah.
they're being funny. And only they sit down.
Also, I have like pictures, like color printouts. And for the harder ones, I have like multiple.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, I'll have a picture of me and my two brothers, a picture of me, my brother, and his wife, or a picture of me and my two sister-in-laws, and I'll say, okay, which one do I have? Like, who are my siblings? Do I have two brothers, one brother, and one sister, or two sisters? Like, give them options.
Okay, that's cool.
So they can choose. So they'll raise their hand and say, "You have two brothers," and yeah.
And also giving them
giving
them the words, right? So if you can say like, "Do I have two brothers? Do I have two sisters?" Now they know the words they're trying to have to answer with, right?
Exactly.
If you just say, "Who's this?"
Like,
yeah, go ahead.
As easy as possible to get them like not so worried about it.
Uh-huh.
But also sometimes there's JTEs that they have an idea of what they want to do for your intro lesson.
Yeah,
So they will say, "Oh, just talk for like 2 to 5 minutes." So then I just use like the one picture and I'll say, "Okay, I have two brothers. His name is Michael. His name is Clifford." Something like really simple and really short, but at least there's visuals. And they really like to see personal things.
Mm-hmm.
Like they like to see pictures of your family, pictures of where you lived, that kind of thing.
Yeah, to make it it's just they want to learn about you basically, right? Unless they're a bad class, and then there's bad classes, but
so
they really want to know about you.
Speak as like you said, as slowly as possible, as simple as possible. I teach at senior high school, and I still have to really tone it down. And it didn't go so well my first time. In retrospect, I spoke a little too fast, and the JT had to do a lot of translating and so on because they were pretty lost.
Yeah, when I used to,
just be prepared for different kinds of intro lessons as well, just in case.
When I used to train ALTs when they first got here, it was just how fast you think if you think you're talking slow, right? So cut that in half, and that's what your speed you want to be at.
Exactly.
So when you think you're talking slow, then cut that in half, and then you're closer to where you want to be. Probably still not there yet. Yeah. Okay. So think about that when you get going. Does anyone else have anything they want to add here?
Yeah.
Cara.
Hi. Yeah, I was just gonna say that usually at the end of the intro lesson or in the end of your introduction, you should let the students ask you questions.
Oh yeah, huge.
And sometimes they'll ask really interesting questions, so you gotta think about how to answer them. Like most of them will probably ask you, "Are you married? Do you have kids? Do you have a boyfriend?" Like things like that. Like they're really personal things, but they could also be funny. I think some of my senpai jets have told me that if they ask you if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend and you don't want to answer that, just ask them the same thing. "Oh, did you have a boyfriend or girlfriend?"
Yeah. That's the way to handle it.
They would just stop.
Yep, that's the way to handle it. Nice one. Yeah, you don't want to make it a weird thing. Like just exactly what Cara said. Ask them the question back, and it's over, and everyone's still laughing, right? You don't want to make it kind of weird. Like I'm not answering that question. Don't be stupid.
Yeah, it's funny.
Anyone else? Erin, I think you want to say something.
Yeah. So like as far as like questions go, I have them ask questions at the beginning. Like just if they have any questions for me, I'm a little more comfortable. Like I think once one person asks a question, like they all get more curious and they want to know more, and then I will tell them more later. And also, if you can distract them with shiny things, they love shiny things. The more props or like realia you can bring from your home for your self intro, that will get them super, super excited. So like I brought a crawfish stuffed animal, I brought my Mardi Gras masks, Mardi Gras beads, which I know obviously not everyone has, but like interesting things that are really cool from your home country. Like they just got so excited when I passed all that around for them to look at. So if you have anything like that for self-intro, I think that would be good.
Yeah, really think about it. You're taking something from another world for them, and you're giving it to them in their hand. I know it sounds stupid, but it's really serious, like, oh my God thing for some of them, you know? So, you know, it's cool if you bring that kind of stuff. Don't think it's not worth it, because it is.
Yeah.
Anyone have anything else to add?
Yeah.
Kayla!
Yeah, so I was able to plan a bit with my JTE beforehand. She emailed me while I was still back in Canada and said, like, hey, you can start preparing for this. And then when I got there, I was able to show her and ask her, is this okay? What should I change? What level do you think the students are at? I'm also in high school, so it was like, it really depends on what kind of level the students are at, too. You can ask the JTEs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the props was a great idea. I told them about my hobbies, and I brought like fossils to show them that I had, and I showed them like Canadian coins and talked about how they're different than Japanese coins. And I showed them lots of pictures. I had lots of pictures of my hobbies and my family, so I put those on my PowerPoint.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, and also like a few last things. Even if you're at high school, if you're junior high school, you can never go too low with your level here. So like, even if you think like, oh, this is too easy for high school, it's really okay. That's actually even better, because the more they say like, I can understand everything this guy's saying, or this woman's saying, it's awesome, because like they feel powerful, right? It's not like they don't walk out like a normal class like, I didn't understand what you said. They understood everything you said in your first class. That's awesome, right? So that's something to think about. Any last words from intro lesson?
I kind of do. It's just yeah, I'm talking. Woo. It's been a while, right? So just if you do the game question route, my students are extremely shy. They will not talk. I did a game and they were in rows or lines, but they weren't facing each other. They would not talk. Actually take the time and move the desks in groups.
Okay, that's a good idea.
It will save you, in my opinion.
Yeah, go ahead. Kayla? Will? Someone's talking?
Yeah. I did the same thing. Put them into groups, and then we gave them like magnet whiteboards, and they wrote their answers on the boards.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
I played a game for my ending. It is not my intro, but I think I was thinking I should have done this for my intro. Where it was like a trivia game, and I was like, I would ask them a question, and I would give them A, B, C, D, and the groups would like try to like figure out the right answer and like talk to each other and like, oh, I think A, I think B, I think C, and D. I had everyone show me their board, so they have to put an answer no matter what. So they will discuss.
Yeah, that's a good, huge way to get students that don't want to raise their hand, is that group thing, and then they have to talk, right? So that's a good idea. Will, you want to say something before we close this one up?
Sure, yeah. And we've also done like self-intros whenever we've had exchange students come and visit. And so it's kind of neat to see like the same perspective of what I went through as an ALT. And so what usually works best is when you have to have students ask questions. Again, they're very shy, so they don't want to say something. So maybe make pairs. Pairs is the big icebreaker. The other thing is if students have to maybe stand up, like make all students stand up, and as soon as they've like maybe the pair or the student has asked the question, then they can sit down.
Bingo.
They will want to hurry through that. So that will make things go quickly. So you're not painfully waiting for someone to ask you, what's your favorite food?
Yeah.
So they'll hurry when they know that they're going to have to stand up until they ask a question.
Yeah, and again, you get the bonus of a funny situation when you get down to the last 3 or so, and people are like, "Oh, you're still standing up." It's always a good idea to use that tactic there.
And if you have more time, ask the question back to them. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite sport? How old are you? Because they're going to ask those questions for sure. Food, sport, age.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we got to intro lesson. Any questions in the chat about that? We'll get to it at the end. The last part of our day here is about getting set up. We got Whitney in the chat is wondering about this cell phone bank stuff. Erin, set us off.
Yes. So in theory, your go-between teacher is supposed to help you get all of that done very quickly after you arrive, like within the first, maybe for me, I think everything was set up by the end of the first 2 weeks. For my situation, I know some people had to wait longer. The very first thing they will want to do with you is get your bank account set up. I think I did that maybe 2 days after I got in. And I had my go-between and then 2 people from the office come with me to do that. Let's see, cell phone, I did not get set up for, I think, until my 2nd week. but that's because I wanted to do more research about the cheapest plan. Somebody in the comments was asking about SIM cards and stuff for cell phones. And as far as that goes, I am very not tech savvy, so I came in knowing that I was just going to get a Japanese cell phone. And I think that's what a lot of the ALTs do. I think even if you're just staying for 1 year and you know you're going to stay for 1 year, I think it's easier to just get a cell phone plan and then break contract later and just pay the fee with the cell phone company. They will tell you that the 3 big companies are AU, Docomo, and SoftBank, but I went through Y Mobile. It's a lesser known company here, I think. I think it's owned by SoftBank now, so you get like big brand service, but whereas most ALTs pay between 8,000 and 10,000 yen a month, I only pay 11,000, or not 11,000, 1,100 yen a month, so about $11, give or take. So do your research, just to like ask the office people to help you if you're not sure what is best, because don't go paying an arm and a leg for cell phone service if you don't have to. And again, like you probably will be able to get that set up within the first couple of weeks. As far as internet, ask your school, like as soon as you get there, like what the deal with internet is, because I know some people that waited 2 months to get internet after they got here. My predecessor waited several months because she didn't know that internet came with our apartment. She was bumming off of our neighbor. But she asked like 2 or 3 months in, and they're like, oh yeah, it's included with your rent. And then they just gave her a router. So my internet, because she had the router, like I was set up with internet from day one when I moved into the apartment, because they didn't like some schools will cancel the internet and then make you sign up for it again. With you being new, like they'll cancel your predecessor and then they make you go in again to do it for you in your name. I did not have to deal with that, but I would definitely ask about it as soon as you get there, just to avoid having to wait all eternity to get that set up, because it might just be as easy as asking your landlord, hey, give me a router because it's included with my rent fee. So it might be very easy, it might not be. See, am I forgetting anything about getting set up?
We can come back to you, Joe, if you think of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's go to Kayla wants to add something about this too.
Hey! So setting up was really fun and really challenging at the same time. I came late, but I think it still works out the same way. My supervisor asked me what kinds of things I wanted to get set up right away, and I said like, well, I want to get a phone plan because I want to be able to contact home. I went the route of deciding to bring my own phone, which I found fairly easy. All I had to do was pay off my contract back home because I wasn't out of contract yet. So I had to buy off my phone, and then I had to buy, you have to check if your phone is workable in the Japan area with their networks. There's like a link you can search to see if your model of phone will work with their service here. And once you do that, all you have to do is ask the companies if they sell SIM cards. And buy unlocking key. So you have to like unlock your phone for international use. So I bought the unlock key. I unlocked my phone when I got here because you have to insert the SIM card key or whatever when you do that. But before I could even get a SIM card with a company, I went to the store and just bought a SIM card with data. Data is the big thing in Japan. They don't really use a lot of like texting or calling necessarily. They use Line a lot. So if you don't already have Line, I would suggest getting Line when you get here or getting it before you leave. And then getting a data plan. Data plans are super cheap here and they're very useful. And that will help you stay in contact with the people you have at home and with the people around that you meet in Japan. So I had my supervisor help me set up my SIM card. And then when we had time to go to the cell phone companies on the island here, we asked them about whether they would sell SIM cards to an international phone because I had my own phone. I decided to go with the local cell phone company, Iki Vision, And they were able to give me a deal on both internet and phone, which I set up on my second day in the city. So they ordered a SIM card for me because they didn't have it on them. So that took about a week, which is why I was thankful for the SIM card that I had bought, because that got me through the week until I could get my own plan. And then with the internet, they just said, oh yeah, all you have to do is buy your own router. We'll have someone come in on Tuesday and install it. So I basically had internet on day 4 in my new apartment.
Nice.
And then by day 7, I had my own cell phone with a plan on a SIM card.
Nice.
So
okay.
that was really helpful.
Yeah, it seems like
regards to
yeah, it depends. Yeah, everyone obviously like everything else. Every situation is different. People get it at different times. Cara, you wanted to add some stuff here that everyone already spoiled.
Yeah, I'm actually using a phone plan that only cost me 1,600 yen per month, and I have 3 gigabytes of data and unlimited calls as well. Well, no, actually, I have to pay for calls, but they're really, really cheap. It's by this company called Ichimio, I think, and it's a new service, because before last year, the senpais in my area either have to pay about 7,000 to 8,000 yen a month to get a smartphone with data and calls in it, or they can have 2 phones, one flip phone and one smartphone. The smartphone won't have calls in it, so just internet, and a flip phone for the calls. So it's one of those 2 options. But this year they have the new service, so I'm using that. And for the Wi-Fi, I actually have it from day 1, because I'm still using the Wi-Fi under my predecessor's name. So I just pay him every month.
Okay, so
but this year, yeah.
So I guess you're lucky
so
though.
I'm
He's still in
it.
Japan, right?
He's still in Japan, yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
that's just
But he
lucky.
moved to a different city. But this July, I'm gonna change it to be under my name.
There you
Yeah.
go. Erin, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I forgot a couple things that I wanted to talk about.
Yep.
The first one being that they will take you to, your school should take you to the ward office. This is not like technology related, but still important with getting set up. Someone at your school should take you to your ward office when you get to wherever you're placed, and they will give you a little my number card. I think it's like sort of like a social security thingamajiggy. But that's important for other things, so don't lose that. They will also get all your forms set up. They'll give you maps of the area, which is really helpful. At some point along the way, they also got the health insurance card done, and do not lose that, because as much as you want to believe that you are invincible, you are not, and you will probably need to use that insurance at some point or another. I've used it way more than I like to admit that I have needed it for. So when you get all of those important papers, don't just toss them aside. Put them somewhere safe where you will find them. And also, second thing I wanted to mention, remittance. If you want to send money back home, I recommend setting that up quickly after you go to the ward office and get your my number card and all of that. Just because my first 9 months or so here, I was terrible about saving money, and I should have, if I had set it up from the beginning, I think it would have been better. But once you have your my number card, even if you just send a little bit home every month, because I tend to use my money as soon as I get it if I don't send it home. So I recommend doing that when you get all of your things set up. While you're doing that, while it's on your mind, it would just be a good thing to do. So.
What service do you use actually for your remittance stuff?
I use Gourmet. I personally found it a little bit easier. I know somebody else told me TransferWise was good, but I had already signed up with Gourmet at this point. I think it's a $20 flat rate or a 2,000 yen flat rate with Gourmet, no matter how much money you send. So it's a better deal if you send more money home. And then your bank might also charge a fee for having money sent. But I like Gourmet very much. I do recommend either bringing someone with you who has done it before, or bringing a Japanese and English speaker with you to the ATM the first time you try to do it, because I fiddled with the ATM for about 40 minutes before I gave up by myself and then had to bring a friend with me the next time. But after that first time, though, it's really, really easy to send money home. All you have to do is put your ATM card in the ATM, and it'll walk you through it real easy. But it's just one less thing that you have to deal with later if you do want to do that.
Yeah, that's what I use GoRemit too, and it's fine for me. TransferWise sounds pretty good too, but I already set it up before TransferWise was even a thing, so there you go. But you can find your way, TransferWise or GoRemit, one of them will work. All right, guys, anything want to add? Anything about getting set up quickly before we get to the question and answer session?
I'm not finished yet.
Kayla's not finished yet.
No worries. Yeah, I just wanted to, before I was just commenting on the cell phone thing for the other options. But setting up, so the things that you're going to set up are your phone, your internet, your banking, and they'll tell you what kind of local banks are in the area or what big banks they are. I know all the other ALTs on this island are with a different bank. They are with like not JP, I can't remember the name, but they're with a different bank, like J18 or something. I'm with the post office. So in Japan, the post office does have a bank service. It just means that your hours are going to be limited to what the post office posts. So it might be different than a regular bank. But what I like about it is that no matter where you go in Japan, you can access your money because you can just use any post office machine or any machine to get your money. So if you don't have enough when you're on a trip, you can just use your card at an ATM in a conveni or in a regular post office and access your money. Also, your supervisor should take you to your like city hall, and you get your residence like slip, which is like this kind of document that you're going to be needing for certain things, including like your Go Remit. And I can't remember what else we used it for, but sometimes they'll want the original copy. They don't necessarily take copies all the time. So when you do get your official document of residence, which gets printed on your residence card as well, you want to maybe buy a couple copies of it so you don't have to go back to get them. You're also possibly going to get contacted by NHK. Mine came the second day I was in Japan. I had no idea what they were and what they wanted because they only speak Japanese. If your apartment has a TV, you're technically supposed to pay for cable because NHK is like BBC, you know, they have that, you have to pay for us because we're like your public television company. You can either pay with a bank account if you have it or with a credit card. It can be international as well. So originally I gave them my Visa. If you find that you don't use cable, you can cancel it, but it's a bit of a hassle. I had to have my JTE help me on the phone, and they're very persistent, and they really want to know what happened to your TV and why you don't have it anymore. So just make sure you don't like sign up for a really expensive one or whatever. And if you find that you're not using it, maybe get some help trying to cancel that because it took me a while. I finally canceled it. I only use the TV for watching computer movies. So I was like, I don't need this.
Aaron, real quick, Aaron, I'll come back to you, Kayla. Aaron wanted to add something about NHK, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, if the rule that I have noticed is if someone rings your doorbell and you don't know who it is, don't answer it because it's either going to be the Mormons or the NHK.
Yeah.
And if the NHK are usually wearing suits and they have some kind of weird clipboard thingy with them, but nothing good comes out of answering the door in my experience. So just don't answer your door unless it's someone you know. Because I had the same problem. This guy, like the NHK guy, was so persistent. I'm trying to explain to him that I have a TV, but I don't have cable. It's just a decoration. But my Japanese was so bad that I couldn't explain that. And he's like, and he actually came back like 3 or 4 times. And on the third time or whatever the last time he came, like I was like, he's like, oh, you need to pay this. You need to pay this. And I just wanted him to go away, so I ended up paying him. And he like was so persistent. He's like, oh, I'll wait for you to go to the ATM and get money and come back. It was really bad. But the thing about the NHK is it's not something that, even if you have a TV, it's like if you don't answer the door, it's not really something that's enforced. Like they can't do anything about it if you don't answer the door for them. So just don't answer the door if you suspect that they're NHK. That is my advice with that.
Yeah, I've been here 9 years now, and I haven't paid NHK once. So just got to be smart about not answering the door. And you don't even have to be like slick about it, like sneak up to the door. I just look through the door and I ask, "Is it NHK?" And they say yes, and then I just say, "Okay, well, I'm not answering the door," and that's it. And I've yelled through the door. No, that sound like a little douchey. I yelled through the door too.
How do
Like
you
I
even
say,
know who you
I don't use
were?
my TV. I just use my TV for video games. That's all. That's what I said through the door, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you don't ever have
I
to
didn't
open your
even
door.
know who they were. I was like, second day. I don't know who you are.
Yeah, that happens.
Nobody had told me beforehand that NHK was a thing.
Interesting.
But also, the other people who come to the door, at least in my area, was the police. They wanted to register you as a resident and just tell you, like, just to be safe, make sure you lock your doors. We just want to know who's living here because there hasn't been someone in this place for a little while. In some cases, you'll get a brand new place. Like in my case, the board moved me from the original predecessor's house to this place closer to my new main school. So sometimes you're in a place that hasn't been lived in before by the other ALT.
Sure.
So yeah, just be aware that they want to get to know you just as much as you want to get to know the town. Sometimes they'll bring information and stuff like that. When you go to the bank, you're going to set up a bank passbook, and their passbook is like more important than your card almost. Your cash card is basically just for withdrawing money from an ATM, but everything else you can use your passbook for. If you're going to set up bills with your bank, it takes some time to approve, and you got to make sure you sign the documents the same way as you sign your name on your passbook. So like, just keep in mind the order of the names that you use. Like whether it's your last name and then your first name, or how you spell it, or if you use capitals and lowercase, because that was a big problem with my bank at first. They were like, "Oh, you spelt it with lowercase. We need you to spell it with capitals." I'm like, "What? It's the same thing." Like,
yeah, that happens. Yeah, that happens.
The other thing you might get set up is a car. If you're going to be driving, sometimes your board will tell you, like, recommend you to a service, or you have to go find your own. Luckily, my supervisor had set up beforehand a car service, because they asked me, "Hey, are you going to be driving? Like, we recommend you drive because your schools are pretty far apart, and it's pretty cheap." So I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be driving. I'm okay with a K car, which is like the smaller vehicles." So they were like, "Okay, we'll get that set up, and when you come here, we'll finalize it." And so they'll take you to the loan company that loans out the cars, and they'll help you with the translation. It might be during school hours, so you might have to like take it during the summer. They might just take you out. You sign some papers. They'll talk to you about the car. They'll show you how it works. My company gave me the first tank of gas free, which was kind of cool.
That's cool.
And then you can choose whether to just go back to the place and pay it every month, or set it up with your bank. And if you set it up with your bank, basically, I think they give you like a copy of the information from their bank book, and you tell the bank that you want to pay this much to them, and then they'll fill out a form with them there.
Cool.
I thought there was one other thing. Cars. Give me a sec, you guys. If there's someone else who wants to think of something.
Let's yeah. If you think about it, Kayla, that's cool. Come back to it. All right, guys. So let's kind of. I know we probably could add a lot more stuff there, but I do have to finish by 12. So that means 15 minutes. So let's get to the question and answer session. Until Kayla, if you think of it, please come forward with it. But
yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, let's get to the question and answer session. So if you have any questions, let them fire in the chat. I'll take care of Desiree's question. Desiree's been the all-star, I think, in the chat so far. Come on, guys. Alex, you're doing good. But you got to base up with Desiree. She's asking the most questions for sure. How often does NHK visit? Now, if they think they have a chance with you, they'll visit very often, maybe once a week. And sometimes they'll bring English-speaking people for you, because they said, "Oh, you can't speak Japanese, so I'll bring an English person with you." That happened to me a few times. But just if you never answer the door, like Erin said, they never can reach that point, and eventually they do give up. They do eventually give up. Also, you could do it, hide your TV. I know we're talking about NHK too much, but if another person I know successfully has done is hide their TV and say, "I don't have a TV at my house," and then they walk and they let them in their house and they check they didn't have a TV and they never came back again. It's up to you if you want to let the NHK person in your house or whatever. It's up to you. Okay, so it's not a big deal though. Don't answer the door. That's fine. Kayla, go.
I remember. Basically, you're gonna need your documents when you set things up, so don't leave them at home. Make sure you kind of have them with you on your first few days, because like whenever your supervisor helps you set things up, just want to have things on hand. So like whether it's your passport or your residence card, or like any banking things that you get, any documents that are important for setting up, proof of ID and stuff, just make sure you carry them on you for a few days until you get them set up. Because I found that very useful. I forgot things a couple times, and I was just like, oh man, I'll have to come back tomorrow then because I don't have that. That's at home.
Yeah, okay, that's good stuff. Let's get to, because especially in the beginning, because you got to set up so much stuff. It's always good to have it with you and not say, well, I'll bring it back tomorrow. That's annoying. All right, let's get to the questions and answers. Chris, I was wondering, how good does your Japanese have to be to get lessons going? I'm studying a lot already, but it would be reassuring to know. Not sure if this question has been asked. This question has not been asked. I'll let Will take this question, please. You better be paying attention. Will. William.
Okay, hey, sorry. I'm actually outside right now, crossing the road.
Sweet.
Yeah, so as far as your Japanese ability, you'll learn a lot once you get here. Probably the important thing is think of all the phrases that you would use in an English classroom and start translating them now. Like, may I look at this? Do you have a question? And then obviously yes, no, and some of those sort of basic things. Do you understand? So you can learn enough Japanese language to get by a classroom situation without having to be like a fluent expert or anything.
Yeah. Don't worry about it too much. You don't have to. It's not a big thing at all. You can speak zero Japanese and you can still get by. Will, if you could show us where you're walking, that'd be awesome in the future. If you can put the video in front of you, that'd be pretty hype. But don't worry about it if you can't. Oh, there you go. Nice. Look at that background, guys. That's what it's all about. Oh, we lost his audio though. We can't hear you, Will, but we can see you and we can feel your heart. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, now we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm actually walking from my school back to my apartment.
Sweet.
I went to my school to do the call, so
nice.
You can actually see our school handball team over there practicing now.
Awesome. There you go, guys. That's what you're ready to experience yourself when you're in Japan. Let's get some more questions. Did anyone pack luggage expecting to pay fees for luggage that was too big or too heavy? Anyone want to take this? Someone wrote something. Erin.
I would honestly just be really careful when you're packing or when you go to the airport. Bring like a friend or a family member with you, so that because like when I was at my consulate, I think Will and I were actually at the same consulate, but everyone was all lined up waiting to get stuff, like ready to get your ticket and all that for the plane. A lot of people, while they were waiting, would bring their suitcase up to the scale and weigh it to make sure it's not overweight. And the people who had overweight stuff, they would just start taking crap out that they didn't need and just handing it to their family member, like, here, take this back, I don't need it. So maybe just bring a person with you who can take your unnecessary belongings. Otherwise, maybe get one of those suitcase scale thingies that you attach to the suitcase to weigh it beforehand, because you really just don't want to be dealing with that at the airport. If you can get that sorted out before you go and make sure that you are comfortably underweight with your suitcase, I think it would be better for you in the long run. And honestly, don't bring a lot of crap with you, because you will accrue more crap once you get here. So I would honestly just pack as little as possible, and then just try not to worry about those overweight fees so much. You can always get more things when you get here.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not a third world country, guys. You can buy almost anything you want here. Of course, not everything, and some of the stuff sucks, like deodorant, but don't worry about it too much.
Daiso is your best friend.
Daiso is it's a 100 yen store, and it is very helpful.
100 yen store, and you can get any kind of everyday life thing there. And if you can't find it there, or it's not good quality after you find out, after you buy it and try it and you don't like it, go to the life store or something. But Daiso is your best friend for starting out and having cheap things in order to get by in life. Whether it's hand soap, dish soap, cutlery and utensils, anything.
There you go. Let's move. Natalie, I'm going to let you give you this next question. We haven't heard from you in a while. Bringing home food. What does that mean? Bringing food home? Okay, I'm not sure about this question, but hopefully you can decipher it.
I do this all the time.
Bringing home food. Any thoughts on that? What does that mean? That's the thing. What does it mean?
I'm assuming they mean bringing food from your home country.
Oh yeah, there you go. Exactly. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I do this every time I go back, actually.
Okay.
Last time I came, I went to Canada for Christmas, and I came back. I brought back Cinnamon Toast Crunch and I brought back Captain Crunch for my friends because they didn't have it. But you just have to be careful with customs. Like, hide it well in your bags and don't tell them that you're bringing things.
It's always the best option.
And if you're coming in August, like same with the omiyage, I hear a lot of people complaining about chocolate. Like they tried to bring chocolate and it just melted in their luggage.
Yeah.
So be very careful about what kind of food you're going to bring. I think like if you're bringing omiyage and things, like you might be okay. Don't bring a lot of food. Like there's like once you come to Japan, you realize what you're missing, and then maybe you can get your family to send a care package later, which is something that my family's kind enough to do. So once I got here, I was like, guys, I really miss gravy. Can you guys send me some packets of Swiss chalet dipping sauce? And they did.
There you go.
Just bring like what you want for omiyage, and then maybe like later ask if your family can send you a care package. Don't worry too much about bringing food because it might also get you in trouble.
Yeah, especially anything meat stuff like pork and stuff is taken out right away, and they have dogs that smell, and they will get that stuff out. So yeah, just be smart about it. Let's see those thoughts here. Peanut butter is expensive, so if you want to have peanut butter, it might be a good idea to bring that. Craft dinner.
Also, some places have Costco as well. Like I'm fortunate to have a Costco very close to Sapporo, so they sell they sell craft dinner, they sell peanut butter, they sell tortilla chips. So
don't forget pizza
there's some
too.
international stores and stuff, so it's a lot easier to decipher once you get here and once you know your area, like what you're really missing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm not really close to a Costco, but the only peanut butter on my island is Skippy's, and if you don't like Skippy's, well, either make your own or plan a trip to an international food store off island or wherever you are, maybe into the big city where there is a Costco.
There you go.
Or the other thing you can do is order on Amazon. Amazon has quite a lot of things that you can order in to your area and ship. So
good point there.
Yeah, that's true. I ordered like a big bag of dried chickpeas and tahini, and it came the next day. So
we ordered
Amazon is also
for
really
Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, turkey is huge. Yeah, a lot of people do that. There's a lot of websites like Meat Guy in Japan sells a lot of meat to people in Japan. So if you wanted something like that, there you go. Okay,
Also,
go ahead, Erin.
Can I add something? Yeah, if you are like vegetarian or vegan and like, or you just like peanut butter and crap like that, I have not actually ordered from this site yet. About to, but it's called iherb.com, iherb.com. They have supplements, protein powders, like dried fruits, nuts, baking stuff, like cereals, all sorts of stuff. So like you don't have to necessarily bring that from home because you can get it from there too, and it's pretty cheap. It's very reasonably priced. So
good stuff.
Another thing to think about.
Will, question for you. Hopefully we can see that beautiful background too. What about clothes?
I'm here, but I'm at home.
Son of a! No, just kidding. We still love you. What about clothes for someone 6 feet tall? Phil, you look pretty tall.
Yeah, I'm 6'2".
There you go. What do you do? Pack it or buy it here? What do you do?
So this is tricky. So I brought clothes from America. I also lost 25 pounds after I got here, because you will find if you're not eating a bunch of fattening food, and if you're walking a lot, you'll lose weight. Just go to Uniqlo. As long as you're slender, if you're thin, you can get a large or extra large sizes at Uniqlo that are great for men.
Yeah,
and they're very affordable.
Yeah, very cheap. Uniqlo is good stuff. So yeah, if suits and stuff, that kind of stuff is kind of hard to find for guys 6 feet tall, I think.
It does. It costs more. Like if you want to get like the sort of the black suit that everyone, every guy gets. If you're a shorter guy, you might pay about $200 for it. If you're a taller guy, you might pay $400 like I paid.
So there's something to that. Yeah, you might want to bring that.
And then as far as shoes, bring them. Like I wear a 15. You will not find a 14 or a 15 here. So bring those from your home country. Or you might be able to buy them from like Amazon and just pay a little extra shipping to get them from your home country.
Nice. Is there hummus in Japan? Cara, take that.
I actually don't know about that. I'm answering the question on Amazon right now.
You can make your own. I made mine the other day.
Yeah.
There you go.
Same. I made it too. From Amazon. Ordered chickpeas and tahini on Amazon and made hummus.
It's
Yes.
really easy to just make it yourself, so just make it yourself.
You heard?
I did find hummus in Caldi. There's hummus in Caldi.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Cali's a good store. You a lot of stuff from different countries in Cali. It's a good store. You'll find that in malls and yeah, you'll find that in malls. It's a good store. Let's keep going, guys. I want to finish pretty shortly here. Any last questions? Be sure to shove them in there. If you have Amazon Prime in your country, does it work in Japan?
Yes, you'll pay a little extra fee on shipping, but it works.
There you go. Took care of that one. Nice, Will. Is individually wrapped tea bags okay as omiyage? Yes, that's amazingly good one. They can use it at the school, talk about how great it is and stuff. That's good. What do you do at your school over the summer when the students are on vacation? Cara.
Yeah, the students actually don't really go on a vacation. They would still be going to school for club activities. So on my first day, I got to see a lot of them just doing different things. So I make sure that I walked around, introduced myself to them, and shake their hands. They were like, oh. So yeah, I shook their hands, and yeah, I talked to the teachers a lot. My Japanese wasn't that great when I first came, but I still use a lot of gestures and just be really friendly to people.
Yeah, your students will be there all year round, basically, except for the two big holidays of winter and summer vacation. But those are only 2 weeks, so that's not even that long. Other than that, they still do club. They do the same club all year, which is, unlike in America or Canada, I believe, where you do like seasonal sports. They don't have that. It's all year. If you play baseball, you're playing baseball 12 months out of the year, son. That's how it goes. Question from Haley Drew Lynn. I have a shellfish allergy. Is it pretty easy to avoid foods with shellfish in Japan?
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. Took care of that
Just
one.
learn the phrase for I'm allergic to shellfish. Is there shellfish in this? And it's pretty simple. And they'll tell you yes or no, and you can avoid it.
You set it up, so you gotta say it now because you said sorry.
Allergy.
You set it up, so you gotta say it now for us.
Oh, what? Well, the name for shellfish in Japanese is kai, just like buying kai.
Nice.
You know. So if you ask, does this have kai in it? They'll say yes or no and say I can't eat. Tabemasen.
Okay, there you go. You heard it from Kayla first. Do we know it? Do we need to know anything about bowing, or do you just shake hands? So I know you're going to learn some about this at orientation, right? But really not that big a deal. Don't be worried about it. I know you're going to learn a lot of stuff, and it'll make it feel like it's a big deal when you see these videos about how what percentage to go down and stuff and all that stuff. It's not that big a deal. No one's going to care. You can do both, shake hands and bow. Go ahead, Kayla.
Yeah.
They'll be impressed if you can.
Yeah, that's true. If you do it perfectly right, they'll be impressed.
Yeah, and they may actually feel awkward if you like have your hand out. And some of them just don't know what to do. And some of them will be like, "Oh, can I touch you?"
Yeah, so, touching is not the thing it is in some other countries, right? Even shaking hands is not something to do when you first meet somebody. So just be aware of that. Any last questions, guys, before we get to the closer? Guys, I'll give you a chance. Last chance. Going once. Going twice. Everyone's been here. That's a lot of good questions. Thanks, guys. Desiree, Tegan, Haley. Let's see who else has been here. Solvandralin. I know I can't say that right, but Chris, Alex, Bearded Joe. Bearded Joe's been an MVP. Jess H. You guys are awesome. Let's go to the closing statements, guys. I'm gonna go around. I didn't get you guys prepared for this, but here it's gonna happen. So, closing statements. Things to get people prepared for their first little bit of time on Jet. Let's start with Natalie.
All right, so prepare to be hot. Gonna meet a lot of people, and just be ready to expect the unexpected. I know that sounds extremely cliche, but yeah, don't get too bogged down when your situation's not what you thought it would be, or it's not the same as somebody else's situation, the way somebody explained it to you. Your predecessor will be your best resource for information, and you're going to read a lot of stuff online and whatnot, but accurate your arrival will be, and in terms of getting set up and everything, I think the best thing to do is rely on your predecessor the most, and maybe your supervisor if you can get in touch with them as well. And yeah, just enjoy it and relax.
Good stuff. Let's go next to Will. Closing statements.
Yeah, just like Natalie said, you'll definitely find you definitely have to rely on some of your JTEs, for a lot of help initially, and you may start to go a little bit crazy when you see other people's situations that seem better than yours. But just know that your first few weeks will be difficult. And then the other thing I would add is just talk to everyone. Like, talk to everyone. Smile, say hello, use any basic Japanese that you can, and just meet people and talk to people. And especially like talking to students, like during that summertime when they're in club activities, they will love that and they will pay attention. If you can remember their name or like you visited their club, they will pay attention in your class. And that means you've got 20 or 40 students that will smile and listen to everything you say in class. So that's very powerful. So yeah, get to know people.
Nice and well. Kayla, closing statements.
Yeah. So your first few weeks are not going to be routine. Things are going to pop up. You're going to meet a lot of new people. You're going to be invited to a lot of parties. You're going to be asked to give speeches. And whether they're English or Japanese or a little bit of both, be prepared. I had to do like 3 speeches in 1 week. And I was just like, just be simple. Just be cool. And just try to be you. They want to get to know you, so be prepared to tell them a bit about yourself. They really want to know who you are and what you do. So be open-minded, be open to not having a routine down right away, and be friendly with everyone, like try to get to know them. And definitely rely on the other ALTs in your area. Like on Iki, at least, there's 5 of us. We're getting a new one this year, so we'll have 6. But we're a really close-knit community, and we always go to each other for help and talk. And we got each other all online, so we're always meeting up and asking each other for advice. So yeah.
There you go. Nice one, Kayla. Tammy. Closing statement. Tammy.
Sorry, I was stretching. So for me, I think, like Kayla said, have an open mind. Don't be too upset if your expectations are not met. I was hoping to join like some club sports and get to know my students, but they didn't like that. And so I had to be flexible. So that's another thing. Don't be upset that your expectations are not necessarily met. Be flexible to changing it to like fit you, I guess. Like, I don't know, like if you want pizza, maybe they'll have corn on pizza. I don't know. You have to be aware of that too. That's the other thing. You don't have your pizza, but you'll have corn on it. And when things go bad, just smile. I think students will always like appreciate that.
Nice. Good stuff. Cara.
I guess I'll just add that the first few weeks of your journey in Japan would be the honeymoon period, at least for me. And things are going to be at least slightly different once you have settled down, maybe a month or 2 months in. So, but be really grateful for people who help you along the way. And if there are people that bother you, just like try to ignore them, because you're living your dream in Japan. So yeah, don't let negative things affect you.
Yeah.
And just try to appreciate every little thing.
Yeah, I guess I would add to that too. Yeah, just part of your job is to have fun. You only get one shot at this kind of first few months in Japan. I remember my first few months very clearly, even though the 9 years ago, right? So your job now is to enjoy your first 2 months in Japan. Have fun. Don't worry about too much stuff. Just enjoy it. Okay. So that's what. Let's get to the closing. Thanks to all my esteemed panel of guests. You guys are awesome. Please check out their stuff. Please check out their stuff. It's all below the video here, all the links and stuff. Please check their stuff up. If you want to check out the
what about Erin?
Erin too.
Erin.
Erin, what the? Erin. Erin is obviously was going to happen after that, of course. But let's get to it now. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So my last advice would be that it's going to be a whirlwind for the first few weeks, maybe first couple months. But don't be afraid to ask questions when you get there, to JTEs. If you need something done, just ask. If you forget someone's name, just ask again. They won't be offended. I would try not to have any expectations. I feel like when you have really high expectations, they are going to be disappointed. So just expect the unexpected, or just don't have your sight set too high on something, because it might be different when you get here. And don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone. everything is going to be out of your comfort zone. So just really push yourself to try new things, meet new people, and get the most out of your life here.
That's a good point. Yeah, you just set your sights realistically. I guess don't think it's gonna be. Don't think everything's gonna be 10 because it might be a 7 and you're gonna be pissed, right? Just open your mind, have fun in Japan, right? Erin, thanks for that. That's why I wanted you to go last because I knew you'd be the most epic one, right? That's why I didn't. That's why I skipped it first. All right, guys. So we are closing. We are closing. If you want to listen to more stuff about being a teacher in Japan, being LT in Japan, ALTInsider.com is here for you. Also, please check out everyone's stuff below here in the description. Cara here was on the podcast here. I'll put the link in this right here if you want to listen to more right now of Cara's beautiful voice. What else do you want, right? But again, thanks to the esteemed panel here. We're probably going to do another one, I'm sure, right, guys? Webinar squad here. We got to keep it going, right?
Yeah, totally.
All right, guys. You have a good one. Enjoy your time in Japan. Honeymoon period. You only get one shot, right? So please live it up. Have fun, and we'll talk to you next time. See you guys.